But then again, it depends on if the judges like counter punches or they like the guys landing the heavier blows. Because remember in that second round, there were times when Juan Diaz did an excellent job counter punching, but that to me was the most definitive round for Juan Diaz. As they are again, body shots by Juan. They wanted to fight smaller, get lower. And Julio just standing toe-to-toe, but look who gets the worst of it. It's not like Julio's not landing shots, but look at these combinations. They're outstanding. His punches are a little bit wider. Juan Diaz a little bit tighter. Julio in the green, mind you, I mean, he's a terrific fighter. He's doing a lot of terrific things, but Juan is taking it away from him, in my opinion. This is round 5 with just about a minute gone. And this has been like this from the get-go, from the opening bell in round number 1. Non-stop action. Body shot. Now here's Julio back with a combination. You know, I want to praise him, and Juan lands about 5 punches in a row. Look at this. Another 4-punch, 5-punch combination. 3 or 4 land. Look at this stuff. Look at this. Rocketing the head. If that doesn't catch the judge's eyes, I don't know what will. And Julio Diaz hasn't been able to do anything like that catches the eye. People say guys like Ali and Ray Leonard used to steal the ends around. So what they would do is catch the eye of the judge. And that's what Julio, as far as I'm concerned, is not doing to Juan. Juan is stealing the eye of the judge. Your eye gravitates towards him because you want to see what he's going to do next. And a nice left hook inside by Julio Diaz. So again, Julio's doing a lot of good things, but not, in my opinion, to the number of good things that Juan has done. Julio having a pretty good, 15 to 20 seconds right here is a good 15 to 20 seconds that he's put together now. This reminds me a lot of about the second or third round on of the Joe McClellan Nigel Benn fight when neither guy would give. Both guys had tremendous height. Here's Juan again, landing heavier blows. So but all the good work that Julio did, is Juan negating it. Juan with nice straight kick. I mean, this guy works so well. Man, I'm going to say if there's any round that you could give to Julio, maybe it's this one, but every time I want to say let's give it to him, it's Juan Diaz that comes back and does something even more extraordinary. I mean, look at these shots, rolling the head with shots. It's not just aggressiveness. Look at this. Man, what a finish to that round. Again, folks, I don't know whether it's me or what, but I can't give that round to Julio. I got to give it to Juan again. Heavier blows and effective aggressiveness.
Que te deja puchar. Cuando tú lo puchaste, le hizo para atrás. Y luego él se agarró sus huevos y se hizo a puchar. Don't let him push you back when you're stronger than him. Púchalo, Ya se cansó. Lo que tienes que usar es tus brazos. Mira, no podemos gritar allá afuera, podemos hacer nada, Julio. It's gonna be up to you right here. Aquí les tenemos que decir todo, pero haznos caso, por favor.
Here's a difference in a statistic I've just been handed by producer Frank Dolman. Juan Diaz landed 49% of his punches in the 5th round. And believe it or not, Julio Diaz only landed 18%. I find that hard to believe that there's that much disparagement in the numbers, but I'm not going to argue with Bobby Canobio and his crew. They've been doing punch that a long time. All right, here we go, round number 6. And an extraordinary fight. I've got Juan Diaz winning every round, but I mean, they're close rounds, and I'm sure the judges don't have it the same way I have it. But I mean, because look at what Julio's doing. Julio in the green, to the left of your screen, with Kid in the front of his trunks. Juan Diaz in the blue Savannah Boxing Club. The punch stats would go along with the way I'm scoring the fight, certainly, but the punch stats only one thing that you can use, one area that you can use. To me, the difference is the heavier blows, which means the aggressiveness of Juan Diaz is much more effective than the terrific aggressiveness of Julio Diaz. And now Gino Rodriguez says, hey, watch it with the head. And if there's any head action by Julio, it's frustration coming forward. And again, here he is caught between a right-handed fighter and a southpaw with his heels beside each other, meaning he has no power at this particular stage. So what happens? Juan Diaz takes advantage of it. Now he's back fighting as an orthodox fighter, and I think Juan Diaz is better as an orthodox fighter. Although I think he's frustrated because things aren't working for him when he's fighting as an orthodox fighter, so he switches up as a southpaw. And if it's not going well for him as a right-handed, it's certainly not going good for him as a left-handed. And when he gets caught in between, he has no power. His shoulders are squared up. He has no power at all. Now this is a situation right there where just for an instant, Juan Diaz had his heels beside each other and he threw a combination of punches. No power there for him either. But it sure looks good because his hands are noticeably, I think, quicker than Julio Diaz. And with anyone else, Julio Diaz would have extraordinary hand speed. And the hand speed tonight of Juan has been... How many times do you want me to use the adjective extraordinary? But that's what it is. Sneaky right hand and the left hook. They want a double left, since 3 in a row right there. And at some stage, Julio Diaz is going to start feeling like Acelino Freitas, and the frustration is going to set in. Because, I mean, Juan Diaz is just showing some class, in my opinion, over Julio here. And it really shows him. We're only to the 6th round. You ask yourself, who wants it more? Both these guys want it bad. This is the fight that Julio Diaz has wanted his whole life. Both of these guys are tremendous shape. There's a situation he gets run again with the heels beside each other. And look what Juan Diaz does to Julio. Inside shots, digs to the body again. A lot of head shots, but they still keep coming downstairs and behind the elbow. Look at these shots by Juan Diaz again, closing seconds. And right at the bell, Julio Diaz lands some shots, but I can't give that round to Julio. That's David Diaz. And he is ranked number 3 behind these guys. And then there's Casamayor. I'm sure he's not bored, but he'd like to fight either one of these guys.
Golpecitos, ¿qué pasó? Cánsese, dale unos buenos que le duelan a cabrón, porque ya nomás te está dando
That David Diaz, by the way, waiting in the wing is 33-1-1 with 17 knockouts. Nate Campbell's 31-5 with 1, but he, I think, is the mandatory for the IBF, so he would like Julio Diaz to win. One way or the other, Nate will be in line.
Get on your rhythm. Get your rhythm. You got to stay tight. You got to step with your tail.
That's Olivia Diaz. All right, here we go. This is round number 7. The Colonel Bob Sheridan here. You're watching King Vision, and you're watching two of the very best lightweights in the world. Juan Diaz in the blue trunks, Julio Diaz in the green trunks. We're at the Sears Center Arena here in Hoffman Estates in Chicago, Illinois, in a terrific fight. We start the second half of the fight, and I got Juan Diaz in a shutout for the first half of the fight, and who would have expected that? Certainly not me. Two extraordinarily gifted athletes in here putting on a tremendous show for the crowd in attendance here. Man, this is just great. No quitting Julio Diaz. He keeps throwing shots. But again, it comes down to the effectiveness of his aggressiveness. You know, for the first minute of the 7th round, I'll give it to Julio Diaz. Let's see what Juan does now. All right, so Julio Diaz gets the first minute of the 7th round. And Juan taking a round off here, or is he going to wait? And then again, 1-2 shots. Decent left hook snaps the head of Julio Diaz. So with all the shots that Julio threw, nothing did damage to Juan. Juan with that straight left hand snaps the head with the right hand. Right back on him again with the right hand. A lot of these punches being thrown by Julio are being blocked by Juan. Watch it yourself. Taking him the top of the head, those he misses. Right back comes Juan. Now his Juan for 35, 36 seconds here in the second minute of the 7th round. Let's win in the second minute. So if he continues, now here's Julio with these shots being made. Very difficult round to score so far. Juan Diaz, that grunting you hear in the background is him every time, kind of like when you see the girls playing tennis with each shot. And that's the way Juan Diaz is with his shots. You may not like He referred to him sounding like a girl playing tennis. But all it means is he's putting everything into it. And also when you grunt like that, it also tightens up your solar plexus and it gives you a feeling of having a lot more power. Both guys exchange shots that time. Now here's a round that I want to give to Julio, and let's see how the last 30 seconds pans out here. All right, Julio, 5-6 punches of his own. Right back comes Juan. Juan catches him with a couple of head shots. Man, here he is again. And he catches him with real heavy shots. So again, if Julio won the first minute, Juan won the second minute. Now here's Juan closing very strong. And he's closing strong in every round. If there's any round you could give Julio, maybe it's that. But, you know, again, I just got to go with it. Based on the heavy shots, I got to give that round to Juan.
This guy's ready to go. He's slowing down a lot.
Put the knees out, Juan.
Put the knees up, baby.
Possibly a Julio round, but with the heavy blows that Juan landed, I think Julio's ready to go. Close to it.
In there like that. Come on, Julio. Huh? They're going to stop the fight. They're going to stop the fight. They are.
They're not going to stop it, baby. Just box. Come on. You got to box him. Jab and move. Jab and move. Let's go.
You have to do it. Come on. Wake up, baby.
Opponent trying to get him to wake up, saying they're going to stop the fight. And I thought with that, if he didn't win that round, it was his best round of the fight. End swell going on that eye.
Hey, low.
Look at this guy. He seems like he's hardly breathing heavily. Tremendous condition. Again, Juan Diaz landed 48% of his punches and Julio 21%. Boy, I wouldn't have seen that disparagement by my naked eye, I'll tell you that. This is round 8. We're in Chicago, Illinois, the Sears Center Arena in suburban Chicago. Julio Diaz and Juan Diaz putting on a boxing clinic, both of them. I've given most every round to Juan Diaz. Julio Diaz got a big mouse underneath that left eye now. Neither guy has been down. Nobody really shaken. Heavier blows throughout the course of the fight have been landed by Juan Diaz. Best combinations of the fight been landed by Juan Diaz. And by punch stat, the percentage in favor of Juan Diaz. The number of punches by Juan Diaz. Something happened in there to Juan. I don't know whether he got hit low or just what happened, but the reaction, I guess the heads came together. And that's the second time that Gino Rodriguez has said something to Julio Diaz about the heads, but Julio just fights with his chin tucked more when he comes in with his head. And again, he's taller. So when you have a taller guy and a shorter guy, usually the guy in the short end of it is the shorter guy. If one guy comes in with his head down. But when you're a taller guy, at least if you get a headbutt, it's going to be in the top of your head as opposed to around your eyes. If you fight smaller like Diaz, that's Juan Diaz, wants him to fight. Juan Diaz to the left of your screen. Julio Diaz is 3 inches taller. Now with his back to you. Juan Diaz coming on. This is a terrific fight, folks. I hope you appreciate the skill of what you're watching here. Two of the very best lightweights in the world. Julio Diaz to the left of your screen, reigning IBF champ. Juan Diaz, the undefeated WBA and WBO champ. All the supervisors here, Jimmy Vins Jr., John Duggan, and Pete Wilkins. Baron Muhammad from the IBF is here. Jimmy Vins representing Roberto Mendoza of the WBA. And the Diaz putting on a boxing clinic. And again, to my way of thinking, it's Julio Diaz landing the significant blows here in round 8. You know, to the naked eye, there's not a lot between them in each round, but just enough for Juan Diaz for me to be pitching a shutout through 7. And like I said in the last round, possibly some of the judges could have given it to Julio. Maybe some might even be able to give him this round, but I don't know. One just appears to be landing the heavier blows. 15 seconds ago in the 8th round. Juan has picked it up in the closing seconds. He hears that tapping of the judges, or rather the timekeeper. And look at, he turns it on. Closing seconds of every round. Look at the bull, the combination of punches. Man, oh man. Don King absolutely loves this fight. When you promote a fight of this quality, you gotta love it. Remember, I have a lopsided score on my score sheet, but that's not indicative of the type of fight it is. It's a wonderful fight.
Round 9, baby. Round 9. That's good, baby. Let's roll here.
4 rounds to go on my score sheet. Julio Diaz would need to knock him out. And he doesn't appear to have that kind of power. Neither guy has been shaken in terms of a punch that really rocked him. Although the heavier blows have been thrown and landed by Juan Diaz. That's Juan. I think the fight's all over. And again, the situation is Julio Diaz can't continue. Juan Diaz is the brand new undisputed world lightweight champion. We'll have to see what happened in that corner. And Julio Diaz just couldn't seem to continue, and Juan Diaz has done it. A bit of an anticlimactic finish, but kind of like the Ecelino Lopez fight. Things weren't going Julio Diaz's way. I think that'll be scored officially as a TKO at the end of 8 rounds, as Julio Diaz apparently just couldn't make it out for the 9th round. Or his corner didn't want him. That's Willie Savannah, Joe Souza, the cut man, Brian Crowell, they're all, Cardwell I should say, the strength and conditioning coach. Juan Diaz I thought was sensational in this fight. I don't know if we'll get a chance before we go off the air to hear what the judges and how they had it scored. But watch this. This is at the end, and apparently he just says, I don't want any more. And he goes over and he congratulates Juan Diaz. Wasn't anything too definitive. Boy, Juan Diaz, a big payday's coming up for him in defending his title, as he just beat one-class fighter. Nate Campbell in attendance, he's salivating. Juan Diaz proved that he is absolutely the best in the lightweight division. That's a 135-pound division. And now will Yoel Casamayor come to the table, who's from Miami, Florida, 34-3, with a draw and 21 knockouts. Can they make that fight? Or is Nate Campbell or Michael Katsidis, a kid from Australia who's undefeated? He's the only undefeated fighter, although Anthony Peterson, who's 23-0 from Washington, is undefeated as well. So I'd like to see Michael Katsidis from Australia come over here and fight this guy. Remember the war that he put on in Las Vegas a couple of months ago. But that would be a war too, because Katsidis is a heavy puncher as well as Juan Diaz. But the attack of Juan, I had it unofficially at the stoppage 80-72. We still have to make it official with the announcement by ring announcer Michael Buffer. When Michael is set and the HBO network is set, we'll make it official. And hit Michael Buffer now.
Ladies and gentlemen, the bell rang to begin round number 9. The official time becomes 1 second of round number 9. As the blue corner, Julio Diaz, advised referee Gino Rodriguez that he would no longer continue. The winner by TKO victory, now the unified WBA, WBO, and IBF lightweight champion of the world, still undefeated, Juan, the baby bull Diaz.
Not a wasted shot. That was quality from the start until the rather odd end. We'll talk to Richie about that. Hopefully we'll hear from the winner